So, how do we free our mind of a hypnosis? How do you even become aware that you are hypnotized? For the last 6 years, I have been trying to free my mind. Really, for a lot longer than that. I was always aware that there was something going on, that there was something fucking with everybody. I could see it. Took me a long time to be able to even get around to it, because there's a lot of mechanisms that the mind has, like deletion, distortion, and generalization. Um, that's one of the biggest one that psychologists tell us is that we are deleting and distorting and generalizing to come up with our perception. And so these mechanisms can be manipulated to keep you in a perception, to keep you stuck in a state of consciousness. And so it took me a very long time because every time I'd start to get close to asking the right questions, it would get deleted and distorted and generalized, and then I'd forget. And then I started working with plant medicine, and it became more and more clear to me that I really, really, really needed to figure out what this was. I just would write it down, and I had journals trying to even convey into words what I was doing, trying to free my mind. And then I could never get a clear thing written down. And then I'd have these moments of clarity where it was like, oh, fuck, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to free my mind. I'd get distracted and start working on the wrong things. And then eventually I came around to this awareness that the perception is being controlled through the form of our body. So the fascia is the organ of form. It's why everyone says, oh, there's form and there's no form, but they don't even understand what that means. Really, the fascia is holding all your cells together, and the fascia extends from the heart, and it is the house of the soul, and it is the organ of form. So there is a fascia to the universe, as just as there is a fascia to your body, which is holding everything together. And so this sheathing is extremely important for our perception. And so finally, doctors are becoming aware of how important this is, and they're starting to use it in their practice. That if you want to heal something in the body, we should look at the fascia first. And the fascia is where we are storing energy as well. So we should look into how we are storing energy in the body, where and why. And that should be the first thing that we look at when we go to heal anybody. And so in the fascia, we have fascial restrictions that are creating knots in the body, and they are literally restricting our perception and creating a false identity in these knots, these restrictions. And it's an energetic dysbiosis. And so as we slowly start to clear these away, the body starts to you start to become free. You're freeing your mind, you're freeing your perception. You can start remembering who you are, who your soul is. It's wonderful. So how do we clear these away? We have to get rid of the energy that's in there. You hear this so many times. If we could just get rid of the energy that's reminding the cell to replicate in this way, then you could feel anything. Or it's like, okay, how do we get rid of that energy? How do we get rid of that pattern, that memory? Um, and that the question led me to um, realizing that these knots, these fascial restrictions, are being triggered from an outside source. And then the knots can trigger each other. And so when a knot gets triggered, it's like triggering that false identity. And so it changes your perception. When you get triggered by these things, you will notice yourself go into a different state if you're paying a lot of attention. And then you slowly work to come out of a state through different practices. So I've come up with my way of a ritual to make it so that you are severing that chain so that these knots can no longer be triggered, because these knots are being triggered by an entity who is feeding off of you. And these entities don't reincarnate. They are in the other realm, spiritual, energetic realm. And they fuck with us all the time. And so when you have some type of trauma happen to you, there was an entity working through that being, animating that being to traumatize you, and they are inserting a program that now that entity can trigger you and feed off you throughout your life. And so you have all of these different experiences, traumatic experiences, even not so traumatic, just slightly. And it's literally uh, entities feeding on you. And they are setting up in a program, a memory that keeps this dysbiosis in the body. And until we can start severing these chains, because they are chains keeping us enslaved in a cage, an energetic false identification cage, if you want to call it. And so we have to learn how to sever these fucking chains. And that's how I've been able to start to really, really heal myself because I spent so much time doing all these different types of things and studying everybody and trying to find someone who had freed themselves of this fucking cage. Finally, I'm there. I'm doing it. I have gotten to the point where I start to sever these chains, and then there are entities that show up. I can't see them, but I can feel them. When I close my eyes and my inner mind eye, I can start to see them. So if I'm blindfolded, I can see the chains always. I can see those now. But when I start to sever these, especially for other beings, these entities will show up. And so I have been working on learning how to send those entities to hell, to cut away their power and to send them to hell. And so uh, that is how we free ourselves, and that is the only way. We have to learn how to sever these chains and to send these entities to where they deserve to go, so that we can start freeing our family, our soul family of angels that have been stuck here. Uh, we need to start taking this whole thing more seriously because we came here for a really, really, really important reason. So that's my ritual for clearing away these things. It's working. It sucks. It's really hard. The next day you deal with fucking being triggered, like it's insane. You know, you've got to really work through it, but it's a lot more effective than anything else I've ever tried. And so through these rituals, I have tools. I have a selenite knife that I've imbued with a lot of power. I have invoked my spiritual knife into this physical realm. So I opened a portal to invoke my spiritual knife into this physical realm so that this physical selenite knife is now animated with my spiritual one, which is really fucking powerful. I have invoked my shield. My This is a copper quartz device. It's wonderful. I have invoked my a portal and brought my spiritual shield into this physical realm to animate this object. So yes, it just seems like an object. How could that be so powerful? But it's you as the operator are the one who makes this powerful. You as the operator are always animating your environment all the time on your thoughts, your intentions, what you study, what you read, what you believe in. You animate your environment with energies. And so I've got that. I've got my crystal here. This is my copper quartz device. Oop. It's wonderful, just beautiful. It's powerful. And so when I'm in tune and I'm trying to find directions and stuff, I'll use it this way. But when I am severing these chains, I hold it like this, and the truth finds it and pulls it out. The shield, and it also burns out resonance of these chains. And then this shield is building a strong shield. So anything of that similar energy is repelled away. And then I have my selenite knife. I pulled it out like this. Let's see what I can see. So I've got a knot right there. I've got a knot that's being triggered, or just a big knot. And I pull it out, sever. And I just do that all around my body. Sever, 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 sever. And it works. It's crazy. It takes a lot of work. Hopefully, it gets more and more effective. But my whole objective here is to get people to start coming up with creative ideas for freeing our mind. Some people call them parasites, demons, but hopefully you can sense that there is something wrong with everybody and that they're unable to get to the truth. If everyone were to wake up to the truth, we would stop what we're doing here. We would all be like, "Oh, fuck no, let's figure out what's going on, yo." Uh, so if anyone can hear what I'm saying and would like to participate in these rituals with me, that would be wonderful. It's rough work. I've had some entities show up that were scary, and it scared some of the people that I was working with. I'd like people who to show up that can actually hear what I'm saying and are ready to face that fear. They're ready to face those being aware of what's really going on, to face the truth. I am an angel of justice, truth, and faith, and I am going to start bringing forth truth, justice, and faith into the world. That is my mission. That is why I'm here. We all have a mission. We all have an element of virtue we come from, and we must awaken and bring these elements and virtues back into this realm so that we can free our soul family, we can free the angels, and we can free up and bring harmony back to the universe because we are all woven through the universe. We are all omnipresent. We all have a song that we have always been singing, and each one of us has that particular song, which is extremely important that each one of us sings. It's our soul song. So my soul song is truth, justice, and faith, and I am gonna start fucking singing it. Here I come.